The Big Bang Theory is the prevailing cosmological model for the observable universe from the earliest known periods through its subsequent large-scale evolution. Not true, by the way. That isn't true at all. Not true. The model describes how the universe has expanded from a very high density and high temperature state and offers a comprehensive explanation for a broader range of phenomena, including the abundance of light elements, the cosmic microwave background, large-scale structures, and Hubble's law. The farther away galaxies are, the faster they are moving from Earth. All nonsense. The Hubble telescope isn't even real, by the way. If the observed conditions are extrapolated backwards in time using the known laws of physics, the prediction is that just before a period of high density there was a singularity, which is typically associated with the Big Bang Theory. Okay, think about how little information is in that. Typically associated with. That means it's meaningless. So typically means usually, doesn't mean always, doesn't mean never. It in fact is void of any meaning. Typically means usually. I typically get a coffee in the morning. So if someone's like, so you got a coffee in the morning? Maybe not. Typically. And then associated with means associated. Like I'm associated with AAA. Does that mean you work for AAA? No, it means I have a little card in my car that I've never used, but I'm loosely associated with it. I'm loosely associated with Meryl Streep because we're both Americans and have worked in the acting profession. So when you have words like typically associated with, you realize that there's absolutely no meaning in it whatsoever. So what this is saying is if the observed conditions are extrapolated backwards, reverse engineered, in time, which people don't truly understand at all, using the known laws of physics, which change regularly, they have a half-life of 12 years, by the way. Every 12 years, half of all physics knowledge is replaced. The prediction is that just before a period of very high density, there was a singularity, which is typically associated with the Big Bang. No one knows what that is. No one can explain it. Physics are undecided. Oh, you think? This is by the way, this is Wikipedia. This is what the Big Bang is. Physicists are undecided whether this means the universe began from a singularity or that current knowledge is insufficient to describe the universe at that time. I think we're going to go with the latter because it said typically associated with is meaningless. Detailed measurements of the expansion rate of the universe place the Big Bang at around 13.8 billion years ago. Okay, so detailed measurements of the expansion rate based on something that no one can agree exists, based in time that no one really understands, and as Einstein, the liar, pointed out is relative based on how close you are to a gravitational wave, which has not been proven. After its initial expanse, the universe cooled sufficiently to allow the formation of subatomic particles, and later, simple atoms. So, where did the atoms come from? What matter? Like, how did an atom form from nothing? You ask these questions, you get kicked out of college, and then you're called a racist, a bigot, and a homophobe. Because if you don't want to put your ween in a man's butt, it means you're scared of them. Giant clouds of these primordial elements. By the way, whenever they say primordial, it means it's a lie. They used to say primordial soup was where life began. There was something called primordial soup 1 billion years ago, and lightning would strike this primordial soup, and that's where simple amino acids formed. This has been disproven by all of mainstream science and any 5-year-old that knows how to say words. So primordial is a meaningless word. It carries no meaning whatsoever and is used to make a magic trick. NASA. All right. After its initial expansion, I read that, giant clouds of these primordial elements, mostly hydrogen, which is an atom, by the way, with some helium and lithium, later coalesced. That means having some sort of orgy through gravity, which has not been proven or shown in a lab or recreated, and no one really knows what it is. Eventually forming early stars and galaxies, the descendants of which are still visible today, which makes no sense. Because a wave should not be able to travel through a vacuum, and a particle should not be able to reach your eyeball from 100 million light years away. And something cannot be a particle and a wave simultaneously, because that's a contradiction. Kind of like how Jews can't be a race and a religion simultaneously. Because a philosophy, an ethos, something you live by, is not related to your blood. So to make the word the same as an immutable characteristic is the same as a choice that you make what your religion is a contradiction, just like light cannot be a wave or a particle. Hopefully this is finally sinking into people, because I am wearing an arbitrary lab coat. All right, let's keep reading. This is what Big Bang means. Astronomers also observe the gravitational effects of dark matter surrounding galaxies. We'll see what dark matter it actually is in a second. It is a nonsense word. Dark lives matter. Ha! Dark matter matters. Hey, man, dark matter matters. Dark matter. Though most of the mass in the universe seems to be in the form of dark matter, Big Bang theory and various observations seems to indicate that it is not made out of conventional baryonic matter, protons, neutrons, and electrons, but it is unclear exactly what it is made out of. One of the reasons I'm doing such a massive takedown of science is because I was researching dogs last night, just doing a lot of research. I find dogs fascinating. I found out that a Tibetan Mastiff was sold in China for $1.5 million because they managed to make them like really red looking, and the Chinese are just really wealthy these days because of NAFTA. And I found out that scientists now cannot prove. One of the biggest hits to science was the Genome Project, and then also further genetic research. Dogs don't come from wolves. Little known fact that the science community is, unfortunately, they're having to admit now. So your Chihuahua is not a descendant of wolves. So now what they say is it is they share an ancestor, common ancestor, which doesn't mean anything. Okay. They say that when they're when people find out that they're wrong, and because they're wearing white lab priest coats like I'm currently wearing, people just give them the benefit of the doubt to be wrong over and over and over again. So, what is dark matter? Dark matter is a hypothetical. Okay, they're now saying that the universe is mostly made up of matter that is not measurable. And it is not made of neutrons, protons, or electrons. It's called dark matter. And it's hypothetical form of matter that is thought to account for approximately 85% of the matter in the universe and about a quarter of its total energy density. So what this sentence means is absolutely nothing. It's saying that the majority of matter in the universe, because according to how scientists have laid out the universe and how much matter would require for the Big Bang to work and for the expansion and all this stuff we just talked about a second ago, they were 85% short of matter. So what they do, they invented something that's nonsense called dark matter, which is hypothetical and cannot be measured. And it is thought to account, which means there's no proof of it whatsoever. The majority of dark matter is thought to be non-baryonic in nature, possibly being composed of some as yet undiscovered subatomic particles. So right now, the scientific view of the universe is that something that has not been discovered and is at this point theoretical accounts for the vast majority of all the matter. It can't be seen, measured, and has been dreamt up in the minds of complete psychopaths. And people are like, that checks out. That makes more sense than us being created by a loving God. Its presence is implied in a variety of astrophysical observations. probably by guys in bow ties that most likely have been accused of rape, including gravitational effects that cannot be explained by accepted theories of gravity unless more matter is present than can be seen. Basically, what this is saying is, because science is now contradicting itself over and over and over again, and that the models they keep showing us not only cannot make predictions, but the more we discover, the more we realize that none of it was at all true. One model that works is that we were created by God. That's one reason why people keep saying that that religion is on a decline. I don't think that's true at all. I think that it is resurging faster than people want to admit, because this is total nonsense. And at first, you believe that because of feats of engineering, airplanes, cars, the steam engine, all, indoor plumbing, the electric grid, all this stuff, that's all engineering. That isn't science at all. Because of that, people wearing these coats can come in and say, there is no God. It is called dark matter, and no one can believe how great it is. And people then believe them because they're wearing these jackets. Dark matter is called dark because it does not appear to interact with observable electromagnetic radiation. What that means is not only can you not see it or measure it, it doesn't interact at all with anything. So you can't even measure it based on its secondary interactions. But it's there. Trust us. Even guys, dogs aren't even descended from wolves. All right. And when I question nuclear bombs being real, people call me an idiot. People think that the Big Bang is real and that dark matter is real. Okay. There's no interaction with observable radiation such as light, and is thus invisible to the entire electromagnetic spectrum, making it extremely difficult to detect using usual astronomical equipment. By extremely difficult to detect, what they mean is impossible, because it's not there. It's only in the mind of a madman that won't admit he's wrong. The primary evidence for dark matter, let me guess, I won't even read this. It has something to do with how it must be there because of the math equations that they've established. The primary evidence for dark matter is that calculations show that the galaxies would fly apart instead of rotating, or would not have formed or move as they do if they do not contain a large amount of unseen matter. Yeah, basically what it's saying is, if it doesn't have this nonsense thing that can't be measured, our view of the universe wouldn't work. Other lines of evidence include observations in gravitational lensing. We'll look that up in a minute. From the cosmic microwave background from astronomical observations of the observable universe's current structure, from the formation and evolution of galaxies from mass location during galactic collisions. That's so stupid that I'm not even going to give it any more airtime. It's so stupid that anyone believes this, that, good luck. Hopefully I'm rescuing your minds here, though, because I am wearing the white jacket of authority. Dark matter makes everything work. You see, we weren't wrong about the nature of the universe. What it is 85% of all the matter is not made up of anything, and you can't observe it interacting with anything. But it's there, because if it wasn't, that would mean we were wrong. Oh man, I was wrong for like 30 seconds because my NASA thing fell off. I'll put that back on there. Man, now I know what it feels like to be a normie.